Hello friends, in the last session that we had, we talked about the definitions of communication, and then we talked about how communication is important in our lives. We talked about how it is basis for planning and decision making, and it also helps improve efficiency, it helps promote coordination, and it is also important when you are trying to motivate somebody. We also saw a clip wherein we saw how the coach communicated his strategies to his team members by communicating, and we understood that without communication it is simply not possible for the coach to get the plan implemented, get the strategy implemented by his team members. Right? Now today again we'll have another look at one more clip. This clip has been taken from a war movie which is based on the Indo-Pakistan Kargil War of the year 1999. And here we'll see how communication becomes important when the supervisor has taken a decision and when he has to also communicate that decision to his subordinates, and he has to convince them about the merit in a particular decision. So let's have a closer look at this particular clip.
Great job. Kaushal, Satish, well done. Sir, सर ये देख लीजिए सर, ये सब कोई टेररिस्ट नहीं, पाकिस्तानी आर्मी के रेगुलर सोल्जर्स और ऑफिसर्स हैं। ये आइडेंटिटी कार्ड देखिए, ये सब पाकिस्तानी नॉर्दर्न लाइट इन्फेंट्री के हैं। ये एक राशन कार्ड है और ये लेटर्स। ये उधर से तीसरा वाला कैप्टन है सर, ये आइडेंटिटी कार्ड इसकी जेब में। सर ये हथियार इन संगड़ों में से मिले हैं, काफी तैयारी करके आए थे सर। राशन भी भरा पड़ा है सर, ये तो अब यहीं रहने के लिए आए थे सर।
हमारे मराठी में कहते हैं स्वतःचं घर संभाळू शकत नाही जातो ही जग जिंकायला, अपना घर तो संभलता नहीं, दुनिया में राज करने निकले।
फोटोग्राफ आपकी यूनिट के साथ।
हाँ क्यों नहीं, कम ऑन बॉयज।
रेडी सर, थैंक यू सर।
राइट सर, धर्मवीर सिंह, अपने को जवान इकट्ठा कीजिए, लोगों को पूरे तरीके से दफन करवाना।
जी सर।
क्या बात है?
सर वो क्या है कि हमारे सोल्जर्स की बॉडीज उन्होंने जिस हाल में वापस की, शायद सबको वही अलग है सर।
हम में उनमें कुछ फर्क है और ये फर्क रहना चाहिए। सोचो वो कैसी आर्मी होगी जो अपने ऑफिसर्स, अपने सोल्जर्स की डेड बॉडीज लेने से इनकार कर देती। क्या हम भी वैसे ही हो जाए? ये इंडियन आर्मी है, हम दुश्मनी में भी एक शराफत है। साथ धर्मवीर सिंह, इन सबको पूरे तरीके के साथ दफन करवाओ।
जी सर।
ऑलराइट जेंटलमैन।
Okay, so now you have gone through the clip. What we'll be doing is we'll try to again go through the clip and we'll understand where all the element of communication we are able to spot in this particular clip. So let us start it again, and then we'll also find out as to how important communication is when the supervisor has taken a decision and he has to communicate the rationale behind that decision to his teammates, to his subordinates. Okay, so I hope you have understood what is happening in this particular clip.
Great job.
Now,
Kaushal, Satish, well done. Sir!
Amitabh Bachchan basically is playing the role of the supervisor here, and his subordinates are reporting to him as to what has happened after the battle. So you understand this, that the subordinates are basically reporting to their boss as to what has happened. So there is an element of communication here. Have a look. Just a moment. Now see, the subordinates are telling the boss about the
Great job.
soldiers who have died,
Satish, well done.
about the
Sir!
arms that they have captured. See,
सर ये देख लीजिए सर ये सब कोई टेररिस्ट नहीं पाकिस्तानी आर्मी के रेगुलर सोल्जर्स और ऑफिसर्स हैं ये आइडेंटिटी कार्ड देखिए ये सब पाकिस्तानी नॉर्दर्न लाइट इन्फेंट्री के हैं ये एक राशन कार्ड है और ये लेटर्स
ये उधर से तीसरा वाला कैप्टन है सर। ये आइडेंटिटी कार्ड इसकी जेब में था।
so they are basically informing the boss about what has happened in the battle. So there's an element of communication here also. Now let's move forward.
Great job. कोई टेररिस्ट नहीं ये सब लाइट इन्फेंट्री के हैं ये एक राशन कार्ड है
ये उधर से तीसरा वाला कैप्टन है सर। ये आइडेंटिटी कार्ड इसकी जेब में था।
सब लाइट इन्फेंट्री के हैं ये
काफी तैयारी करके आए थे सर।
के लिए आए थे सर ये तो अब यही रहने के लिए आए थे सर हमारे पर
Now see, they are in the middle of a battle, but still they are laughing. They are enjoying this camaraderie. And to be able to enjoy this camaraderie, they need to communicate. They need to share stories. They need to share humor. And this is what they are doing. This is simply not possible without communication.
मराठी में कहते हैं स्वतःचं घर सांभाळू शकत नाही जर तू जग जिंकायला अपना घर तो संभलता नहीं दुनिया पे राज करने निकले
फोटोग्राफ आपकी जूनियर के साथ।
हाँ क्यों नहीं क्यों
रेडी सर? थैंक यू सर।
सर धर्मवीर सिंह अपने कुछ जवान इकट्ठा कीजिए लोगों को पूरे तरीके से दबाइए। जी सर।
Now please note that the soldiers are not happy with the instruction given by the boss. The boss tells the soldiers that they should get the dead Pakistani soldiers cremated, but the soldiers are not happy about this instruction. You know what happens is, the soldiers are not happy, but since he's the boss, nobody says anything.
कीजिए लोगों को पूरे तरीके से दफन करवा दो। जी सर।
But the boss still gets to know about it. the boss still gets to know that the subordinates are not happy with this instruction that he has given to them. And how does he get to know this? How are the subordinates able to communicate? They simply cannot disobey the orders of the supervisor, but what they can do is, through their body language, they are expressing they're not happy with these instructions, right? And the boss, which in this case is Amitabh Bachchan, he gets to know this just by looking at the body language, just by looking at the facial expressions of the subordinates. He gets to know this, and then he seeks clarification from one of his subordinates.
क्या बात है?
See, he's asking Pradeep.
प्रदीप,
Now the
Sir, what
Pradeep
क्या है कि-
gathers the courage to explain why the soldiers are not very happy with these instructions. But then now, as the supervisor, he has to take a call. He has to take a call as to what is ethical and what is not ethical. And he takes a call, he makes a decision. He considers the point of view of the subordinates also, but then he makes a call. And just to convince his subordinates that he has taken the right call, he communicates to them the rationale behind his decision also. So have a look at what Amitabh Bachchan says.
हमारे सोल्जर्स की बॉडीज उन्होंने जिस हाल में वापस की सबको वही याद आई है सर।
ऐसे ऐसे हम में उनमें कुछ फर्क है और ये फर्क रहना चाहिए। सोचो वो कैसी आर्मी होगी जो अपने ऑफिसर्स, अपने सोल्जर्स की डेड बॉडीज लेने से इनकार कर देती है। क्या हम भी वैसे ही हो जाए? ये इंडियन आर्मी है। हम दुश्मनी में भी एक शराफत रखते हैं। साथ धर्मवीर सिंह, इन सबको पूरे तरीके के साथ दफन करवाओ।
जी सर।
ऑलराइट जेंटलमैन।
Right? So we have seen in this particular clip that communication is important from many angles. Number one, we have seen that to appraise the supervisor as to what you are doing, to let him know about how you have been performing, the subordinates are communicating with him. Secondly, we also saw that many a times, if they are not very happy with the instructions of the boss, the subordinates can communicate with the boss without directly disobeying him. Just by their body language, they can show that they are not very happy with the instructions. Thirdly, we saw that the boss also should have this acumen to understand this non-verbal communication, wherein the subordinates haven't said anything, but just by their body language or by their facial expression, they are communicating their displeasure. And then fourthly, we also saw that if the boss has taken a particular decision and he has to make the subordinates understand the rationale behind that decision, again, as we saw here, Amitabh Bachchan tried to communicate the rationale behind his decision to his subordinates. So this is how we have seen and we have understood that communication is very, very important for leaderships also, and as subordinate also for appraising the boss about your progress. Communication is very, very important.